I'm making a hardstyle kick completely from scratch inside Serum 2. No kick sample, no pre-made tail. Just Serum 2, LFO envelopes, distortion, filtering, and a few processing tricks. And yes, you can download the final kick for free. Let's build it. First, I'm starting with the Init preset. On oscillator A, I'm turning random all the way down. This keeps the phase consistent every time the kick hits. Then I'm turning the level all the way down. Now I'm creating LFO1. I'm setting it to envelope mode and mapping it to the level of oscillator A. This is going to shape the main punch of the kick. That short movement is what creates the first impact. Now I'm creating another LFO in envelope mode. This one is extremely short. I'm going into the matrix and mapping it to the main tuning. This creates the fast pitch drop at the beginning of the kick. Now I'm activating oscillator B. I'm moving the wavetable position to position 2, which gives me a sine wave. Again, random goes to 0. Then I'm creating LFO3, also in envelope mode, and mapping it to the level of oscillator B. So now we have two different layers. Oscillator A is the punch. Oscillator B is the crunch. The punch gives the kick impact. The crunch gives it character. Now I'm going back to oscillator A. I'm changing the waveform to off pass. Then I'm activating filter 1 and making sure it only affects oscillator A. For the filter, I'm using high 18. Then I'm pushing the resonance, the cutoff, and the drive. This is where the punch starts to get sharper. It stops sounding like a clean sine wave and starts moving toward a harder style kick. After that, I'm adding distortion, and I'm pushing it to 100%. At this point, the kick is still rough, but now it has energy. Now I'm changing oscillator A to Resim S1. And this is one of the most important parts of the sound. The wavetable you choose changes the entire attitude of the kick. You can use the same envelopes, the same distortion, the same filter. But if you change the wavetable, the kick can sound completely different. So don't just copy settings. Move the wavetable position, listen to the character, and find the tone that actually works for your kick. Now, I'm activating oscillator C. This is not going to be the main punch. This is going to be a texture layer. I'm creating LFO4 in envelope mode and mapping it to the level of oscillator C. Then I'm turning random down to 0. And I'm changing the waveform to Ozpass. This layer is not supposed to be super loud. It's just there to make the kick feel more alive. Now I'm activating the sub-oscillator. I'm leaving it as a sine wave. Then I'm creating another short envelope and mapping it to the sub-level. This is basically the sub-layer of the punch. But I don't want it to hit exactly like the first transient. I just want it to support the body of the kick. That way the punch can stay aggressive while the low end stays solid. Now I'm taking the same LFO that is mapped to the main tuning and I'm also mapping it to cursed pitch. I'm setting it to unipolar. Then I'm pushing the amount until the kick starts getting more movement. This adds that weird, aggressive character. And this is where the kick starts feeling more designed. Not just distorted, designed. Now I'm creating another LFO in envelope mode. This one is going to control sync on oscillator B. I'm activating sync and pushing it around halfway. This adds more crunch and movement to the B layer. Now I'm going back to oscillator A. I'm increasing the unison voices to 12. Then I'm creating another envelope and mapping it to the D tune. But I only want this unison effect during the punch. I don't want the whole kick to become wide and messy. I just want a short burst of movement at the beginning. That makes the punch feel bigger, without destroying the low end. Now inside the effects section, I'm adding another distortion, and again, I'm pushing it hard. But here's the thing. A hardstyle kick is not just distortion. Distortion gives you aggression, but the envelopes, the filter, the pitch movement, and the low-end control are what actually make it usable. So now we need to shape the tail. I'm adding a hall reverb. Then I'm cutting the low end from the reverb because I don't want the bass to get muddy. After that, I'm creating another envelope and mapping it to the reverb mix. But I only want the reverb to come in on the tail, not on the punch. If the reverb hits the transient too much, the kick loses impact. So this envelope lets the punch stay dry and powerful, while the tail gets bigger. Now I'm adding a compressor. I'm pushing the low and below controls to bring more weight into the sound. The goal here is not just loudness. The goal is to make the punch, the crunch, the texture, and the sub feel like one kick. Now I'm cleaning the stereo image. I'm using a splitter. On the side signal, I'm adding an EQ with a high-pass filter, so the low end gets removed from the sides. Then I'm adding utility and setting the bass mono around 200 Hz. This is really important. And this is why building kicks inside Serum 2 is so powerful. You're not stuck with one sample. You can actually design the character of the kick. So this is what we started with. And this is the final hardstyle kick. The structure is simple. Oscillator A is the punch. Oscillator B is the crunch. Oscillator C is the texture. The sub gives low-end support. The pitch envelopes create impact. The distortion adds aggression. The reverb envelope makes the tail bigger. And the stereo cleanup keeps the low end controlled. This is the direction I want to explore more with KROSPER. Not just hard techno, the full hard music ecosystem. hard techno, hardstyle, uptempo, industrial, and everything in between. So if you want this hardstyle kick, you can download it for free below. And if you want more hard music presets, tools, racks, generators, and production systems, check out the KROSPER ecosystem in the description. See you in the next one. That's how you turn sound into power.